All right. Well, here we go. Let's start talking about the big weekend player by player and give you a breakdown, give you what I've been hearing from both on campus and also what I've been hearing from some scouts and some assistant coaches. It is time for Four Downs, and it's brought to you by our friends at Dynasty Spas, as Dynasty Spas in Athens is fantastic.
Four Downs brought to you by Dynasty Spas, the most comfortable spas made in the United States of America, right here in East Tennessee. Drop in for the all-new showroom in Athens. Dynasty Spas, perfect for all four seasons. Four Downs, presented by Off the Hook Sports.
All right, mention Off the Hook Sports. Get $250 off any spa. I'm sorry, $500 off any spa. That's dynastypoolsandspas.com, dynastypoolsandspas.com. I'll tell you more here momentarily, but let's get to Four Downs. Man, it's almost like it's cold in my house, almost like the heat ran out or the gas ran out because my mouth's not moving normally. Coop, before we jump in the hot tub with you, what should we do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Do it, Coop. All right, here we go.
Coop here. First down.
All right, so we're not surprised by Hurd at all. I think you would agree with that. But let me ask you this question. Where, in terms of impact on first down, does this prospect in Lance Hurd rank among the prospects that Heupel has brought in? Caleb Calhoun, you say?
So we're not counting people who were brought in for Heupel, like Hendon Hooker.
Correct. These are just guys that Heupel brought in. So if you look at it in terms of a 5-star coming out of high school, you include Brew McCoy, you include the 5 stars that Tennessee has gotten on their own, in a Nico, for instance, and you go down the line, you're talking about roughly 6, 7. The midterm list officially just came out, so we'll have a column up of guys that need a hit. So, but as far as 5-star prospects, we're talking about a half dozen or so. So Hurd would be one of those coming out of high school, but he's a transfer and could theoretically play immediately. He's not as big as Nico, but is he as big as any other prospect that Tennessee has brought in? That would include Mike Matthews.
Wait. You're going to name people and mess up my ranking, Dave.
Sorry, you go. My bad.
Wow, okay. No, he's fourth.
Okay, give it to me. There we go.
Nico's number 1. Clear-cut number 1.
Clear.
Brew McCoy is a clear-cut number 2. I don't think there's any question. I don't think Tennessee goes 11-2 without Brew McCoy in 2022.
Now, are you factoring in the known factor or just coming into school? Because we know Brew McCoy's a good player. We've seen enough before he got hurt. Are you factoring that in, or are you just say walking in the door?
I'm saying walking in the door. Brew McCoy's number 2, I think. And Brew McCoy was a starter day one when he walked in. He was either going to be this number 2 or the number 1, and he became the number 1 when Cedric Tillman went down. But he was that much of a known factor immediately. My number 3 is, quite honestly, and not because of it's not based on what I saw on the field this past year. It's based on the scouting that was done of him by players and former players who watched him, and it's James Pierce.
Okay.
And everybody knew, apparently, not me, but everybody that had studied practice knew James Pierce was going to be as good as he turned out to be. And so because of that, I put him at number 3.
Number 3, given the fact that he has played, I think he's actually number 2 to Nico. And I think it's because he can be an immediate factor, and they see that in him. Trevor asked, is Hurd going to play tackle? My indication from talking to somebody actually last week was, yes, he would play left tackle, and then you would move John Campbell to right tackle, who sent out on social media that he was lined up in the right tackle stance. Now, I was also told that people read too much into that, so I don't think it's 100%. I don't think that Josh Heupel already has his starting lineup for Chattanooga filled out, Caleb. I mean, you don't have to do that now, so why would you? Hunter says James Pierce should be number 2. Listen, I think James Pierce is a special player, but you have to factor in the off-field issue as well, okay, which he was defiant of police. Not a huge deal, but that's a factor. Hit like and subscribe now before we get to second down, brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Okay, second down. Bring in the excitement, Coop. Thanks. Does Hurd have to start right away, a la John Campbell, the way he started last year, right away, to be successful, to be considered a good get? Could he have a Dante Thornton type of year where he sort of eases into it and gets better, and maybe it was a little too fast, too good? If he's that, can he still be successful? At
Hell
Tennessee,
no.
at Tennessee, by the way, not transferring to like Illinois or something. Go ahead.
Hell no. And I say hell no because this is a I'm all in for 2024 move by Josh Heupel, and Tennessee needs another tackle because they don't have another tackle right now. If Lance Hurd doesn't work out at this year to protect Nico at left tackle where he wants to play, then hell no, he's not a success, because that doesn't matter what he does after that. Tennessee's going to struggle because Tennessee needs, I'm telling you guys this, Tennessee needs 2024 to be a rousing success. If it's not, the program's going to falter under Josh Heupel. So Hurd himself won't be a disappointment. The whole program becomes a disappointment if Hurd is not successful, because if Hurd's not successful, the program's not successful this year.
Mead Drinker says Hurd is a 5-star. He better be starting. I'm going to disagree, guys. I think this is in some ways better in the fact that he's a foundational piece than an instant fix in 2024. Do I think he'll be an instant fix in 2024? Yes. I think he starts at left tackle just like John Campbell did, and I think he's better than John Campbell based off all the tape that I've watched at the same point in their career. So I think he will, but he has 3 years to play too. So I look at Dante Thornton. If Dante Thornton catches, I don't know, 60 balls next year for 800 yards, is he a success in a transfer? Yes. I get your point. Immediacy is a big thing, and you think Josh Heupel's loaded up for 2024. I'm thinking of this big picture a little bit more long term. So I think Hurd could be a success and not have an impact in 24. But it certainly would stink if he wasn't an impact in 2024, right?
It would be horrible. You know who you are, Dave? You know, guys, y'all want to know who Dave is? And Dave will love this because he is a Celtics fan. In 2007, before Kevin Garnett got traded to the Celtics, they were looking to trade him to Phoenix, but Minnesota wanted Amari Stoudemire, and Phoenix did not want to give up Amari Stoudemire for KG because Stoudemire was younger. Well, Kevin Garnett turned out to be better in the short term and the long term than Amari Stoudemire. So, giant mistake by Phoenix. You take the now over the long term 100% of the time, particularly when you have a special player like Nico.
Okay. Trevor says, I agree, Caleb. Tennessee needs to have a successful year in 2024. I still think Jalen Hurts.
The program's going to come undone if they don't.
Ooh, okay. Big time disagree, but that's the topic for another day. I think this is a foundational player. I think you take a Lance Hurd instead of like a 4-year starter out of another school that you just get for 1 year. I think this is a little bit of a hybrid high school player because he has so much eligibility left, which to me is very enticing. You get a chance to mold him. Darnell Wright wasn't anything special until Josh Heupel got on campus and Glenn Ellerby got on campus, right?
Yes, but Lance Hurd's greatness will be useless if Tennessee's not good in 2024 because they won't get any talent for 2025.
Okay.
There.
Hunter says, Caleb's right. 2024 has to be a big year for Tennessee fans to be all in on Josh Heupel. All right, I'll play the minority because I think Josh Heupel is going to be the head coach of Tennessee for the next 10 years. I think he's going to be good enough to keep that job, and I think he's going to have success. And I don't think you feel the both you, Caleb, and some of our listeners, I don't think you feel the depth of which Tennessee has something special in Josh Heupel. Did you notice that all this NFL talk went around and Josh Heupel's name wasn't mentioned? He could have gotten it mentioned. He has an agent. He could have floated it out there, maybe gotten a little more money. He didn't. I think he's a long-term piece. You're kind of greenish, Caleb. Is your light messed up? All right.
It's a lighting issue. My apologies.
Caleb turns into the Hulk live each and every weekday at 10 a.m. Third down, Coop.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right. So third down is this brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Let me ask you this question. What else does this class need? You can talk immediately or you can talk long-term. What else does this class need? Caleb Calhoun, you say?
They need another offensive lineman and another 2 more secondary players. Like, That's pretty clear. They still don't have a guard. They still don't have a left guard who can play. So that's the big one. And then 2 more secondary players because they still had a bad secondary last year. And I don't care about any changes they made this offseason. They still need more.
Nope. Fair enough. I can definitely roll with all of that. Dynasty pools and spas before we get to fourth down. Any other concerns that you might have with Lance Hurd or any concerns? You had brought this up. He did transfer in high school. It's brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Imagine having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas has their showroom open in Athens with the best hot tubs and spas on the market. Delivery, yes, they can do that. Complete support, spa cover, and chemicals are included to get your spa bubbling at its best. They have amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that'll save you a ton. DynastyPoolsAndSpas.com. All right, hit like and subscribe now if you haven't to this point. We're going to try to set a record today for most concurrent viewers. So take that second and hit the like button. Give me a comment. Give me some feedback. And let's see how many people we can get on board for that George McIntyre commitment. All right, what down, Coop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Okay, you're the only one that has voiced this, and I don't mean that to single you out. I just mean that in terms of Caleb's ahead of the curve sometimes. And you had said that there might be a concern. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but let me state it like this. A guy very quiet on social media, which is not the norm, and a guy that transferred in high school. And he's leaving LSU too, which is not a bad school. And they have great facilities too. Any concern that he's making the move from one school to another and also transferred in high school? Any concern that things might not work out from a Louisiana guy that moves to Tennessee?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of diva in him. He's demanding he plays left tackle. And that part's very clear. Now, it's not as much of a concern as the Walter Nolan situation was because, let's be honest, one, Tennessee's defensive line is much better than their offensive line. So with the defensive line, we talked about it that last week, Dave, you don't want to mess with team chemistry if you can avoid messing with team chemistry. But the offensive line, you're shorthanded. And more importantly, left tackle, that's very much an individualistic role, right? You don't really have to jive with the rest of the offensive line as a left tackle. You just got to focus on the guy rushing from the outside at left tackle. So it's not as important as defensive line. So it is a concern that he's a bit of a diva. And I'm going to stick with that. I don't think this is the type of player you want to build your program around, but I think the position he's playing, you can live with it.
Okay. No, I'm completely fine with all of that. I think there is a concern, but it's not like back in the day, Caleb, when if a guy transferred in high school, I was really concerned. That just happens nowadays. It's not nearly as much of an issue. A lot like junior college players. Listen, you get through junior college, and I think that you are you're pretty much ready to go nowadays. That wasn't the case when I first started covering recruiting.